I think is probably the worst human being in the world to have on television to spout off the nonsense that he spouts out. I mean, he has called Obama racist. He has called anybody who's involved with Obama as a racist, a socialist, almost Nazism. I mean, he's gone to the far end. I think right now he makes Rush Limbaugh look like a sweetheart. But I got to tell you, and I want to say hello to John Sotolar, who's in the other room, because John's listening to my diatribe here. Hello, John. And,
hey, Dennis.
One of the things that I'm really ticked off about is the fact that Glenn Beck and also the folks at Fox, I've never seen Fox give two sides of the story. Fox is an ultra-conservative network with ultra-conservative hosts, and they always, I mean, I just can't believe any network would allow the showing and the spewing of just biased, one-sided information. Now, naturally, everybody was screaming, there's going to be the speech, and everybody was getting crazy. Well, I read the speech the day before Obama gave it because it was on the internet. Unless you wanted to take out a letter here and a letter there from every word that he said, sure, you could get the letter, I'm a terrorist. You can get the words together, I'm a socialist. You can get the words together, vote Nazism. You could pick up any letters you want. All those things, yeah, you can get them out of the speech if you choose to do so. And that's what those conservatives were doing. They were choosing to take that route. But lo and behold, the speech was nothing more than a rah-rah speech to say, hey, kids, pick your pants up, go out there, learn something, don't drop out of school, and education is important. What is so horrible about the President of the United States saying something like that? Glenn Beck ought to be ashamed of himself. Sometimes I think that he is the subversive individual. He, Rush Limbaugh, they're the subversive individuals. It's almost like they're so upset that their party has no control that they choose to be the voice of the party. They choose to be the people who go out there and put scare tactics, and that's what these are. That's what these are. It bothers me because these were scare tactics that were utilized. Same way as that Bush during his regime used scare tactics that we're doing this because we can get hit again. We're doing this because they can come and attack us again. Well, we're going into Iraq because there's weapons of mass destruction. Well, none of it was true. None of it was true. Yes, part of it was not true because the United States put in some pretty good measures of security. Even that was fallible because people still got through some of these security lines at the airports with weapons, you know, and they were not people that were just everyday people. These were professionals who tried to sneak through just as to test the system. So I'm at the point now that I'm wondering, where is the sanity in this country? I'm a liberal. And why am I a liberal? I'm a liberal because I think liberalism is that you could take a lot of things as they come, try to do the best you can, and if you have to do something that's extravagant and maybe so far to the left to make things work, so what? I could also be a conservative. There's certain things I'm very conservative on. How this country spends money overseas, I'm conservative. I really am. I don't see us giving Israel $20 billion a year or $10 billion, whatever it is. I think the last time I think it was $4 billion. I don't see us giving other nations that don't like us any money to help them in their aids. You want to know how to pay for health insurance? Pull back on 70% of the foreign aid you give to countries that do not care about this country. And I'll tell you right now, you will pay for health insurance in this country to all those who need it. That's how you do it. That's the simplest thing in the world. I don't even know what the heck these guys are fighting about, taxing this guy, taxing that guy. And by the way, as I see the health plan as it's coming through right now, the way it looks, the 1,000 pages that became 1,500 pages, I mean, it's kind of crazy because if I was a congressman, you know, when these Republicans and some Democrats say they didn't read it, well, that's your job, pal. Your job is to read it. Your job is to represent your constituents. If you don't like what's in there, do it. You know, get out there, try to change it. Now there's the gang of six, 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, that are really trying to hone this thing down to make a workable health care system. Anybody who thinks that health care in this country does not need reform lives in the dark ages. We do need reform. Even those with health care, like my wife has her own health care plan. I'm on Medicare. I have no problem with socialism in Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security. I have no problem with that at all, okay? I have no problem with socialism when the country provided jobs with the old WPA and the CP and the old Conservation Corps, the CCC. I have no problem with that. I do have a problem if the government comes in and tells me everything that I have to do, yes. But guess what? In most cases, these guys that are screaming the most, it doesn't even affect. It doesn't affect you one iota. John, when is the last time a president of the United States directly affected your life, outside of a draft?
Directly affected my
Directly
life?
affected your life. The decision he made directly affected your life.
It would have to be the first Bush. At that time, I was in the service, the Operation Desert Storm.
Were you drafted?
No, I wasn't drafted. I was in the service. But
So you volunteered?
I volunteered. I remember getting ready for stand duty, stand watch.
So as a soldier, as a naval
Naval petty officer.
petty officer, you had somebody direct your life, but that was a government job.
And then that was it.
That was a government job.
You came down to the quarterdeck, and the officer of the watch handed me a sidearm and a rifle, and said, "We're at war.
Well,
Stand your post."
so my point to you is that in your private life, you've not had any direct influence by the President of the United States.
No, that would be the lone, and again, that was the lone opportunity.
Well, guess what, John? You're not alone. A lot of us, the majority of us of this country, have never been affected directly by the President of the United States, one way or the other. We may have been affected mentally by the fact that we may not like what was going on, this, that, and the other thing, but very few of us are affected out of our everyday life. Maybe a little bit in the pocketbook with taxes, but it's all things we were used to. It's all things that were there in place before. So if you're talking, yes, we got more taxes under one president than another, but that was all there. That was all there. So
Well, usually the effects that a president has or that Congress has is usually shows up after the fact.
many years after the fact.
Many years after the fact.
And that's what I tell a lot of people. Everybody is judging Obama in 8 months' time, and I think it's not fair. Unfortunately, the conservatives were judging him from day one.
Well, you look at the ramifications. Take what Eisenhower did with Social Security. Look at what LBJ did with Social Security as far as taking money out of the fund and putting it into the general fund to be spent.
Well,
the ramifications of those things from the 50s and 60s really didn't show up until the 90s.
Well, my point is that on Social Security, somebody said, what does the government ever run that's successful? I said Social Security and Medicare, and the only reason that they don't have money today in comparison is because they were so successful they borrowed money against it to put every other places.
Yeah, but then again, we were talking this morning about Bernie Madoff back in the news that they're looking at maybe indicting his brother.
Oh, trust me, there was a hell of a lot more than just Bernie Madoff in that Ponzi scheme. You don't take off with $60 billion without anybody's help.
But the conversation turned to, if Bernie was going to set up a Ponzi scheme and he needed a blueprint, Social Security would be it.
Oh, absolutely.
The ultimate blueprint for
Absolutely. That's what it is. That's what it is. Well, all I can tell you is that I am sitting here and I'm appalled by the fact the Fox network has just a one-sided view on anything and everything. I'm appalled to hear the voices of Glenn Beck. And by the way, I don't even like his approach to the camera. He sits there like a whining little stupid ass, with this look on his face like, I know everything and you guys know nothing. And I hate that look. He's the kind of guy that if we had him in the street, we smack him. You don't even punch a guy like him. You smack him to embarrass him because he's not worth a punch in the mouth. He's worth a smack to embarrass. Okay, John, I've said my piece. That's my opening 10-minute diatribe. So what else are we going to talk about today? Well, I guess that I feel that, by the way, John, are you able to record that and put that in?
Yeah, actually, we're recording up live now.
I am so proud of you. I am proud of John Sotolar. Let me tell you why I'm proud of John Sotolar. I got many reasons to be proud of John. John came to my office one day, my shop, my wife's barber shop and salon, and he was just coming in to say, hi, I'm running for office. Well, I wasn't there the day he came in, but I called him, and I spoke to him on the phone, because I liked the way he looked. I liked the way he appeared on the paper in his picture. He looked like an honest guy. And guess what? I was right. John came into my office, and I was very impressed with him. I said, John, tell me what I can do for you. I'd like to help you out. I'd like to work with you on your campaign, and that's what I did. Now, unfortunately, we did not win, but John certainly pulled a hell of a lot of votes, almost 20% for an unknown. And you know what? He got those votes because he did most of the walking door to door, knocking on doors, leaving leaflets. I helped, naturally, and there was others like Ed. Ed helped too, and Kosiak. Right? Kosiak is his name?
Yeah, Ed Kozak.
Kozak. He helped also, along with his wife and John's wife, everybody got to the streets, and we banged on doors and we talked to people.